The lady took her hand and started speaking to my mother. And she said, "Don't worry about your son. He will survive. He will walk with kings."
Are you ready to act?
Let's get ready to rumble!
What's up, class? So in our previous lesson, we talked about being before doing. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about once you master the art of being, you must be first class. The Bible says, "Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will sit before kings. He will not sit before people of low rank." Think about this. You eat first class bread, butter. You buy first class clothes if you can afford it. Second class is only wanted when first class can't be had. Remember we talked about earlier, how is it possible that I've done all of these films with these celebrity actors, been in these elite circles, and yet my resume is not that extensive. So why is that? It's because I have the conviction that I would rather not do a job at all than to do a job half-heartedly.
I live by a certain code. I have to have a certain amount of decency in my behavioral pattern.
It's better to be picky, to be choosy, or to wait until you know that you can do this job in excellence than to just do a job for the sake of quantity. See, it's quality that will elevate you to the next job. Every job you do should lead to the next. Excellence, that must be your trademark. That must be your brand. Whatever you do, whether in word or in deed, do it as unto the Lord. One of my teachers, Sidney Poitier, he made a statement to Denzel Washington. He said, "Your first 3 films will determine the course of your acting career." What is he saying? He's saying be patient, be picky, and be first class. This is Sidney Poitier. This is someone who was saying this in a time where there was no social media to promote yourself. No Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram, there was no TikTok. His reputation was his capital. His work was his advertisement. This is especially true in the acting world. Your reputation is your capital. There is no better advertisement than a good reputation. You can't afford to do a poor job. You can't afford to be pretty good. You can't afford to be good enough. The only thing you can afford is to be first class. If you work 1 year and let's just say you don't come back on the scene till 5 years later, you will still be in demand because they know that this person does their work in excellence. Hire them. Think about the world that we live in. It's very hard to find anything that's well done, anything that's well put together, be it furniture, clothing, be it household items, be it a house itself. Think about all the trains that have gone off the tracks, airplanes that have crashed, cars that have wrecked, all because someone said to themselves, "I'm only going to do enough for what I'm getting paid." So when you find somebody who understands that the quality of their work and the quality of their character is connected, that person will always and forever be in demand. And that is your job, to be in demand, irreplaceable, be first class. There was a story of a guy who went to apply for a job and he had an interview with the employer. So the employer asked him, "So what do you do? Do you have any special skills?" The guy being interviewed replied, "Yes, sir, I can do almost anything." And the employer said, "Oh, well, I have no use for somebody who can do almost anything. I'm looking for someone who can do one thing well, one thing first class." So I want to hear from you down in the comments, your stories of being first class and how this principle has affected your life.